Good afternoon, Kettleland. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We still have some lingering showers in southeastern South Dakota through northwestern Iowa, as well as extreme northeastern South Dakota. Things are moving to the east, and it's a cool day with temperatures in the 60s and 70s with clouds remaining across eastern South Dakota. You see we have 67 in Brookings, while it's 68 degrees in Watertown. Already close to 80 in Pierre. Forecast for today showing afternoon highs in the 70s and 80s. I'll have more details on your forecast coming up as we begin midday in Kettleland.
Live from Kettleland Media Group, Midday in Kettleland.
United States Attorney General Merrick Garland is in Sioux Falls discussing local crimes and prosecutions. Plus,
Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate Tim Walz addresses Republican attacks on his military record as both campaigns also focus on the economy this week. I'm Natalie Brandt with the latest from the campaign trail.
Well, good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Tom Hansen. A Sioux Falls man with a long history of stalking young girls is back behind bars this midday. 79-year-old Vern Hennings is in the Minnehaha County Jail. He's accused of exposing himself to a child near Central Sioux Falls Elementary School. Now, we first told you about Hennings in 2011. That's when he was charged with raping a young girl and soliciting multiple girls outside of Sioux Falls Middle School. He ended up pleading guilty to sexual contact with the child, and all the other charges were dismissed. Hennings got out of prison in 2022 and is still on parole. United States Attorney General Merrick Garland is in South Dakota today. This morning, he met with law enforcement officers from all over the state at the U.S. Attorney's office in Sioux Falls. The Attorney General pointed out several successful prosecutions undertaken by the U.S. Attorney for South Dakota, including drug dealers, kidnappers, and child molesters.
I am very proud of U.S. Attorney Ramsdell and of all the men and women of the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of South Dakota.
Garland also talked about federal efforts to increase the focus on missing and murdered Indigenous people. He will travel to Wagner today to meet with tribal leaders and Senator Mike Rounds. Turning now to a first look at your midday forecasts with meteorologist Scott Muntz. And it's a wet one out there for some of us, huh?
Yeah, for some of us, that's a good way to put it. We've had these scattered light rain showers in southeastern South Dakota, heavier rains in northeastern South Dakota that we'll get to in just a bit. Now, this is our Sioux Falls live cam. Cloudy skies overhead. We do have a couple of those showers moving through. At the moment, with the clouds, temperatures have remained cool throughout much of the morning, and we're at 71 degrees right now. There is some clearing just to the west of the city. We have a south wind of 16 miles per hour, and the dew point temperature is up to 68 degrees. Now, this is Aberdeen. We've been following the rain in northeastern South Dakota that has been heavy at times. Temperature in Aberdeen is 70 with an east wind of 13. Their dew point temperature also at 67. Just enough to give us about 3/100 of an inch officially in Sioux Falls. You do see amounts there across northwestern Iowa, anywhere from 1/4 to maybe 2/3 of an inch. And then as we move into northeastern South Dakota, I think Aberdeen sticks out at over 2 inches. Milletta just over an inch, and you see Watertown getting close to a 1/2 inch of rain. And then we'll watch central and north central South Dakota for developing thunderstorms later this afternoon and evening. So this is what we have going on right now. First stop will be across northeastern South Dakota using our Huron radar. Maybe a couple of lingering showers in and around Britain. They are moving to the northeast. And then for southeastern South Dakota with our Beersford radar, you see how the rain does extend into Iowa, parts of Minnesota as that rain is exiting eastern Sioux Falls at the moment. So they have that area of low pressure to our south. It's moving to the northeast rather quickly. So we do have a lot of cloud cover in eastern South Dakota, Minnesota, and Iowa, but you do notice some clearing just to the west of Sioux Falls. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see a decrease in cloud cover in southeastern South Dakota. Temperatures are in the 70s and 80s, though we do have, say, Brookings, Watertown, Siston, Ortonville, still in the 60s. You could even throw in Worthington and Spencer in the 60s, with southerly winds across eastern South Dakota. And dew point temperatures have warmed to the upper 60s to near 70 degrees, so it is humid. And we'll continue to watch for developing thunderstorms in the central and north central South Dakota later this afternoon. So our forecast for today, you could expect numbers in the 70s and 80s for afternoon highs. I'll have more details on your forecast coming up.
Thank you, Scott. Woofstock is a day of music, vendors, and dogs at Remedy Brewing Company in downtown Sioux Falls. Sage and Junior are currently in foster care with Dakota Dachshund Rescue and will be among the nearly 20 adoptable dogs at Woofstock. The event also serves as an important fundraiser for Dakota Dachshund Rescue.
Our biggest thing is medical, and we spend over $100,000 a year on medical expenses. So, and that's not easy to do. The adoption fees don't even cover half the cost of the dogs on average. So we got to raise the money for it.
Woofstock runs from 1 to 5 Saturday afternoon at Remedy at 8th and Railroad. For band students across KELOLAND, summer often means band camp. The Lincoln Marching Band in Sioux Falls has been busy putting together their show for this year, which they'll perform at home football games and competitions. However, they also have a special trip happening on Thanksgiving Day this year.
You talk to all of the kids right now, and what are you looking forward to the most is the Macy's trip.
Coming up in tonight's Eye on KELOLAND, Lauren Solik will take us to Spat Camp with the Lincoln Marching Band to get a taste of their Big Apple-themed show. In national news, the Republican ticket is going after Democrats in an attempt to slow down their momentum. But some GOP sources are telling CBS News that they want the attacks to be more focused on what voters say they care about. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, is campaigning solo on a multi-state tour from west to east. While speaking to union workers in California Tuesday, he defended his military record against Republican attacks, including from rival J.D. Vance.
I'm proud to serve my country, and I always will be.
Vance, a Marine Corps veteran, has accused Walz of stolen valor for comments Walz made about carrying weapons in war, though Walz did not serve in combat. Vance also claimed Walz left the military to avoid deploying to Iraq. CBS News confirmed Walz retired after 24 years in the National Guard to run for Congress months before his unit received orders to deploy.
I firmly believe you should never denigrate another person's service record.
Former President Donald Trump is also back on the campaign trail today in North Carolina to talk about the economy. Some aides tell CBS News Trump should focus on policy attacks, not personal ones. Former primary rival Nikki Haley echoed that concern, saying it's not a strategy to win.
The campaign is not going to win talking about crowd sizes. It's not going to win talking about what race Kamala Harris is. It's not going to win talking about whether she's dumb. It's not. You can't win on those things. The American people are smart. Treat them like they're smart.
Harris will also be in the battleground state of North Carolina talking about the economy in her first policy speech on Friday. On that issue, CBS polling from earlier this month shows Trump maintains a lead with voters who say they'll be financially better off with his policies. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The Trump campaign announced that he will hold a press conference at his Bedford, New Jersey golf club Thursday afternoon. Harris and Walz announced that they will take part in a bus tour of Pennsylvania beginning on Sunday ahead of the Democratic National Convention.